I did a very bad thing. I broke one of the rules of overlanding. This is my third day of traveling around the Balkans. I wasn't supposed to be where I am. I'm disappointed. I broke one of the main rules of overlanding, which is find a good place to rest early in the evening, if not earlier. I failed. I failed badly, not once, but more than twice, and this disappoints me a lot. I'm confident behind many YouTube channels is the same struggle. It is almost midnight. I yet don't have a place to park the duster house and camp, and I get tired and tired. I'm committing more errors. For example, I just bought now before this trip this EDC37 from Nitecore. It costs a ton of money, brand new, never used. I took it now with me, and because I'm tired, both physically and psychologically, I dropped it, and this button now is damaged, brand new, a ton of money. The camera I'm recording, the Pocket 3, dropped it to the ground. It was too dark here to see exactly what happened, how it dropped, at least to know how it dropped. Did it drop on the gimbal, on the side? I prefer the side, of course. Who knows what type of damage and when it will show up. I still have 1 year of care refresh, but then if it fails right after, it is disappointing. What I'm trying to say is this is what sits behind the scenes, what you don't get to see. So almost midnight. I have now to drive. We'll see how long until I will find a good spot. It has to be with shadow because I need at least 6 hours of sleep. If I camp at 2 o'clock, this means 8 o'clock at 8 is too hot already. And the rule during summer is always sleep early. I was supposed to be in the tent at 10 o'clock, not now. Many times I end up doing this, then something happens and it doesn't materialize and it doesn't get to you. When I arrived here, my first impression was this is a tourist trap. Period. But then after recording for a while, I thought it is too negative, too toxic for you. I should change the frame. I should not do it like that because it doesn't do justice. And I started to record in a more optimistic way. I did that, and it abruptly ended because of an event that again made me very sad. And then eventually I returned to the car and think, okay, I should go closer to the approach of a Via Ferrata, see if I can find a better place to park or find a place to park anyway and then do it tomorrow morning. And while I was checking the directions to see on the map if really there is a spot, because in here, being a tourist trap, everything needs to be paid, everything is private, everything has to be paid, parking included. So very hard to find a public parking place where you can at least stop the car. And then for sure they don't have like in Spain, even in small cities, you have an area free of charge for cars like Duster House or more to stop overnight, camp, sleep, back next day and continue your drive. That great Spain it is, for example. The social policies they have there are just amazing. In here you don't have these things, no support for people like me. It is why probably we will end up always with I hijacked X and Y, because it's the only way you can do it, hijacking them. And while I was checking for directions and trying to prepare for tomorrow before I go to sleep to know exactly how I organize myself, I started to read the comments. Of course, everything that happens at the end of the day is my mistake. I should have educated myself better. I should have informed myself better. And I read a couple of comments about this Via Ferrata and they start saying, oh, we had to pay 30 euro to do it. What? This is private. I'm not doing it. But I thought, okay, I'll hijack it then. I'll go at this hour and I'll do a night climb because either way, many on the channel asked for that to happen. It is how I ended up dropping the torch, the Nitecore EDC37, a ton of money I paid on that and it's broken. First day used, but it is what it is. I've gone there just to go and see it. And it is there and it is written big, private Via Ferrata. No, the mountain is not yours. The mountain is not yours. You cannot make it private because the mountain is not yours. The mountain is of a people and it should remain of a people. If we make mountains private property as well, then I think society goes in a very dangerous direction. So, conclusion. I drove here. It is a tourist trap. This was my first impression. When I tried to sugarcoat it, you see how we lie on internet, how we adjust our frame to create the content. And I'm guilty of that as well, it appears. But I thought I always am too serious with you. I always am maybe too toxic. And what I'm trying to do is to change the perspective, even to change who I am, to record differently, to stop always bombarding you or forcing you to face this dark side of life. Maybe it's not healthy. I'm thinking about this for the past year. What I want to do going forward is to entertain you more, to give you a positive outlook about life, about Via Ferrata, about the experiences